the September 10th, 2020 meeting call to order. Do we want to do roll call?
Yes, so let's go ahead and do roll call. All right, and I'm gonna go one by one, like we've been doing. So first, Beatrice?
Here.
Thank you. Let's see. New Commissioner Anderson? You can just reply present.
Present.
Thank you. And did we have Commissioner Cadet?
Present.
Thank you. And Commissioner Hesselstein?
Present.
Thank you. Vice Chair Gencott?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson? Your mic is unmuted.
Present.
Thank you. Okay, and Commissioner Rivera, your mic is unmuted. Commissioner Rivera,
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
This thing keeps knocking me off. I'm sorry. I just have to re-engage again every time.
Okay, if you have any kind of other devices running on your Wi-Fi, they may be pulling from your bandwidth, so you might want to disconnect those or turn them off for the meeting. That might help.
Well, this is the only time I have problems with whenever we have a commission meeting. The last time we had a meeting with the joint commissions with folks from the beach, not a single problem. So I don't know what it is.
I wonder if it has to do with the amount of people on. We'll have to make that suggestion when I speak to IT. Okay, but we got you here, Commissioner Rivera. Thank you. Let's see. And Commissioner, hold on one second, sorry. My computer is Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, your mic is unmuted.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Stevens. Your mic is unmuted.
I'm here, and I've just let y'all know I'm sitting in a hotel lobby because I was at another meeting. So if you lose me, it's because I'm in the hotel Wi-Fi.
Okay, all right, thank you. Chair Neri Strickland.
Present.
Thank you. And Commissioner Zoberman?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And we have a new person joining on us as audio only, so let me identify this person. Caller, can you please identify yourself?
This is Tommy. It wouldn't let me on the computer. I don't know why. It just showed my face, but I'll try again. I'm on the phone.
Okay, well, at least we got you on audio. Okay, thank you, Commissioner Cubine. I'll get you here. Thank you. All right, and that is it. think
I
got
see
everyone.
Commissioner Gunn.
Oh, Commissioner Gunn joined us. Okay. Commissioner Gunn?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had to call in. I'm on video and audio on my phone.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Commissioner Gunn. And that is it for roll call.
Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Moved in second.
Okay, so now I'm gonna do a roll call vote for approval of the minutes. Commissioner Amberman? Oh, you're unmuted. Your mic is unmuted.
Approved.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Thompson, your mic is unmuted.
Aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair Gencott?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Gunn?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Rivera?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Stevens?
Aye.
Thank you. See Chair Neri Strickland?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Stanley?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, and Commissioner Zoberman?
Yes.
Thank you. And Commissioner Heseltine?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you. And Commissioner Kubine?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, and we'll go 13-0. The minutes from the August 13th meeting were approved.
Thank you very much. Before I ask about the agenda, just want to announce that today is Beatrice's birthday. Everybody send her a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, B.
Birthday.
Any adjustments or additions to the agenda that we know about right now?
Sylvia, I would also like to welcome Zakaya
Oh,
Anderson.
I'm sorry. Yes, we didn't. Please.
All right, Commissioner Anderson, your mic is unmuted if you have anything to say.
Just again, just thank you all so much for the nomination, also the selection. I am so happy to serve. I'm a military spouse, so I'm not a local of Hampton Roads, but I've been here about 4 years now, and I'm happy to call it home, and especially Virginia Beach. And so I'm happy to serve the community and look forward to, you guys seem like a really fun bunch. So I'm really excited to really be a part of the commission for the next 3 years. Thank you all again.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you. We're so much fun. We can't stand it most of the time. Okay, with no changes to the agenda, we'll go forward. And Chief Sakaro has been waiting since October to tell us about his a recruitment process. And I've also asked him at the very end, he has a new program in place about internal dialogue. And I asked him to just tack that on at the end if he doesn't mind, although he doesn't have to. He's looking at me next month, maybe. Okay.
About that, I'm sorry, I apologize. I didn't hear that last part.
That about your new internal program.
Oh, I know what she's talking about, our focus group efforts. Yes.
Okay. Well, Chief, thank you for everything, and you have the floor at any time you want to take it.
Okay, well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm joined today in the conference room with Captain Spivey. He's our recently assigned commanding officer of professional development and training. I have Captain Billy Zelms. He's our special projects commanding officer. And at the head of the table is Shelley. You guys know Shelley. She has recently been transferred to professional development and training and is part of our PD&T team. So we have literally been talking about offering this presentation for a little while. I didn't realize it was since October, but we're happy to be here. We are happy to share some details. We put together a presentation. I'm going to ask Captain Spivey to present. I will defer to him on how he prefers, if he wants to hold questions to the end or ask during the presentation. More than likely, it may be productive to ask and hold questions to the end because we may answer some of the questions along the way. So if that's okay, Miss Sylvia, we'll proceed.
Yes, please. Thank you.
And the first thing we'll do is we'll share the PowerPoint with you on the screen.
Okay. And I just gave you presentation permission, so you should be able to go ahead and share your screen now.
Are you seeing that now?
Yep, we see it.
Okay, very good. Ken, you got it.
Bear with me 1 second, y'all. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so basically we've got about 36 slides to go over our hiring and selection process. So as Chief Secretary said, there's a lot of information in this, so I'm confident that some of your questions will likely be answered throughout the presentation. So if we could hold those until the end, that'd probably help to speed this along a little bit. So getting right into it. why Virginia Beach Police Department? Obviously, we're a resort town and everything that comes along with that. And we offer competitive pay and benefits compared to our surrounding jurisdictions. Our training and our equipment is second to none. We go far above and beyond what Department of Criminal Justice Services requires. As a matter of fact, they require 480 hours of training in the academy, and we deliver 960 hours to our academy recruits. So also on our department, we have a lot of opportunities for new recruits and officers to experience as they progress throughout their career. Anything from multiple assignments within our investigative division, homicide, robbery, special victims, to some of our covert units, vice, narcotics, computer crimes, things like that, and then also into our pretty cool assignments over in our special operations division, which is our SWAT team, our helicopters, our boat and dive team, things like that. Just really a whole host of opportunities that folks can expand their career. And suffice it to say, they're probably not going to be bored on our department. So also, we have a very professional organization. I think you guys probably already realize that. We are a CALEA accredited organization, which we're very proud of that. We've been that way for many years now. And so it's a really good place to work. And this slide here illustrates a very important part of the work that we do. We enjoy a considerable amount of community support and appreciation. And that does not go unnoticed by our officers. So a little bit about, where am I? I think I'm freezing up. All right, about our community, if you don't already know, we have a year-round population of almost 450,000. We're the 39th largest city in the country. We cover 307 square miles of both land and water. We have about 19 million visitors a year, and then you can see the rest of the breakout there as well. Just a snapshot of how our city looks. Here's what we look like demographically on our department presently. So 83% of our officers are white, 7% are African American, 5% are Hispanic, 3% have 2 or more races, and then 2% are Pacific Islander. So that's how we look demographically at the moment. We have just over $100 million budget, which is 5% of the city's total budget. We have just over 1,000 members between our sworn and civilian staff, and we are the largest municipal police department in the entire Commonwealth. So with respect to our demographics as it relates to the African American population, this is an interesting slide, and one of the takeaways here is the bottom right category. When you compare that to our surrounding jurisdictions, we're looking pretty good. We're not where we'd like to be. 20%, just over 20% of our city population is African American, and we are just under 7% on the department. Although that is not where we'd like it to be, by comparison to our surrounding jurisdictions, we're not as bad a shape as, let's say, Hampton is. So what does an officer start out, or a recruit start out making it upon entering the academy? You see the dollar amounts there, just over $43,000 when they enter the academy. When they complete the academy, they make just over $45,000. And then this slide will speak to our professional development program that was recently funded, and our officers are enjoying this for the first time. So upon graduating the academy at year 3, an officer can get a 5% pay increase, providing they pass a written test and showing their competency with our department policies and procedures. At year 6, they get a 10% pay increase if they meet certain requirements, and you see those there as well. And what we call collateral duty points. There's various things that they can do, such as becoming a general instructor, a police training officer, things like that that can help them earn collateral duty points. So it's just not a pay raise just for the sake of tenure. They actually have to do something to earn that pay raise. And then again, at year 9, they can progress to police officer 4 and receive another 5% pay increase. So by comparison, before we had this program, when I came on and most everybody in this room, we didn't see our first pay increase until we became a master police officer at year 6. And that was when we first saw our first pay increase, other than cost of living or something like that. So this has been really helpful in us retaining those folks that chose to leave before they hit that 6-year mark. So what does our selection process look like? So to get hired with us first, I'll back up. Just like getting a job with any other department in the city, they have to complete the online WAVE application, and in addition to that, a personal history questionnaire. They have to complete those 2 things and submit them to us. Providing we receive those and there aren't any automatic disqualifiers, they'll proceed to a written exam, a physical ability test, background polygraph exam, and then they'll go to a pre-screening board. So once they make it through the pre-screening board, we'll provide a conditional offer, if you will, after they get through the a interview, which is the oral panel. If they accept the conditional offer, we'll schedule them for a psychological exam and a medical exam. Once they make it through that, both the psychological and medical exam, then they'll be allowed to enter the academy. So that's an overview of the selection process. I know it's a lot, but I'll go into each one of these here momentarily. So let's begin with the written exam. That consists of multiple choice questions, reading comprehension. There are scenarios, essentially real simple questions. What would you do in this type of situation? There is no math on our written exam, and the candidate has 3 hours and 15 minutes to complete the exam, which is, for all intents and purposes, really easy to do in that time frame. Also, to help folks in the written exam, we offer a study guide on our website that these candidates can feel free to use to prepare for the written exam. So about our physical ability test. Basically, this is a 4-part test that evaluates our core strength, flexibility, cardiovascular endurance, and our upper body strength. So here you see on the left slide a instructor demonstrating a push-up, how to do those properly. And they have 1 minute to complete as many push-ups as they can. You'll see on the right slide, an instructor demonstrating the sit and reach. And again, this is designed to assess one's flexibility. Here we have the trunk pull on the bottom left, and then on the bottom right, you have your 300-meter run. Both core strength and endurance these measure. Moving on to our background investigation. So after you've completed your written exam and your physical ability test, we'll take the information that you provided in the city's WAVE application, as well as the personal history questionnaire, which is our PHQ, and then our background investigators will go through all of this information. They'll assess the candidate's DMV record, their credit report, criminal history check. They'll have an interview with the background investigator, and they will also, the investigator will speak with the various references that the candidate has provided. It's important to note with this process that although someone may not have perfect credit, the important thing here is that their credit issues must be resolved, and we do not look at their credit score. Credit score isn't a factor for us. We just want to make sure that they're meeting their financial obligations. So on to the polygraph exam. So we have a whole host of polygraph examiners who are very highly skilled and trained and certified in administering the polygraph exam. And it's not like you see on TV or anything like that. So kind of if you're encouraging someone to join our ranks, they will have to go through the polygraph exam. The best advice that we can give them is to be completely honest. And that seems to work out very well for those folks who make it through the polygraph exam. It's when when candidates start showing deception that it leads to difficulties in getting through the polygraph. So once they make it through up to this point, it'll go through a pre-screening committee. And you can see some of the information on there as to what that looks like. And every applicant goes through this process. So during this pre-screening committee, PSB board, we call it, the candidate is evaluated in the various areas that we've already discussed, and that information is discussed. And if there's any glaring issues that need to be sent back for further investigation or would disqualify a candidate from proceeding on into the remainder of the process. We do not know the applicants by anything but the last four of their social security numbers. So there are no names, there's no demographic information provided. It is simply the last four of the social security number. That way we make sure everybody's treated the same, and all of our decisions concerning this are consistent and equitable across the board. If an applicant doesn't make it through this process or part of the process, then they can appeal that decision to me, since I'm occupying the chair at the moment. So why do we have such a rigorous application process? And quite frankly, we recognize the authority that all officers have and the trust that the community imparts on us. And we don't want to do anything to diminish that in any way, shape, or form. So we need to make sure that the people that we select and hire are highly matched for the requirements that we have of our police officers. We want to, you can see on our goal right there in the second to last bullet, we want to hire people that will do the right thing even when no one is looking. And basically what it comes down to is we're not looking for perfect people, we're looking for people to be honest. So provided they make it through the PSB, then they'll set up they'll get the conditional offer after they make it through this full board interview. So basically, they're provided a list of questions. They get 10 to 15 minutes to review the questions before the interview. And basically, they'll be asked these questions by officers, supervisors, folks who are already on the department, and a representative from HR as well to assess how well they communicate and are they actually entering the profession for the right reason? Is this something they've really thought long and hard about and really want to do? Are they truly committed to making this step? And then we'll give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down within 10 to 15 minutes of the interview. So usually that's a very productive part of the process for us. It gives us a very good idea as to what the person's goals are coming into our department. So should a candidate not do well in the oral board, or they're just simply not prepared for it, or they haven't thoroughly thought it through, then and they don't make it through, we will offer them as part of a way to help them in the next time, and we'll encourage them to come back through the process. We'll encourage them to participate in a ride-along program with one of the precinct officers on a shift of their choice to help them get better insight into what it is we do and how we do it. So after they make it through that oral board, they'll get that conditional offer. And that conditional offer is contingent upon them completing their psychological exam, which is basically 4 written tests and an interview. And these do not cost the applicant anything. These are what we pay for to achieve. They'll go through the psychological exam and then the medical exam. If a candidate has some type of medical situation that needs to be further explored, then that will be worked out between the medical examiner and the applicant. All right, now they've made it through the whole selection process, and we're ready for them to start the academy. So you'll see here the front door of our Virginia Beach Law Enforcement Training Academy. This is the facility on Burneck Road, and it is shared with the Virginia Beach Sheriff's Office. So about the academy, 26 weeks long, Monday through Friday. We do not have a live-in resident academy like some jurisdictions have, or the military, anything like that. So more than 1,000 hours of instructional training. You'll see some of the topics that are just gone over during the academy. So defensive driving, firearms, defensive tactics, physical fitness. We are very heavy on scenario training. We have found that doing realistic scenario-based training is the most beneficial in the development of our personnel. We also cover topics such as constitutional law, crisis intervention, de-escalation, and shoot, don't shoot scenarios. And we are one of the very few jurisdictions in the entire country that actually offers live shoot house training to our personnel. So academically, our recruits are tested weekly, and these are all part of the Department of Criminal Justice Services program. And they are required to maintain an 80% academic average. That average is taken upon the first time they take the test. They will have to retest up to 3 times to demonstrate that they understand and comprehend the material and get a 100% by the 3rd retest. So although they have to maintain an 80% academic average, we require them to have 100% understanding of the material that we deliver. So once they make it through the 26 weeks, their training isn't over. They actually do a post-academy police training officer program. Basically, this is like an on-the-job training experience. That is 6 weeks long. 16 weeks long. And like I said, it's helped them to build on the skills that they learned in the academy in a real world environment. So they'll actually be out on the street with a police training officer actually doing the job, and they'll be evaluated through 4 different phases. A, B, C, and D, and then they'll have a midterm evaluation as well as a certification week at the end of the program. Also, during this PTO phase, they'll be doing journals on what they've been learning throughout the instruction period, and then also doing evaluations not only on themselves, but also on their police training officers. So we can ensure that we maintain the highest quality of training within our training staff as well. So one interesting thing that we require of our recruits at this part in their training is what's called a NPE exercise. NPE is for neighborhood problem exercise. And so essentially they go out into the community and they look for things or situations that might need addressing. This could be lights out on a basketball court that our kids are congregating in and taking advantage of the dim lighting, and just issues like that to help improve the communities that they're working in. And they have to present on this exercise to a board of evaluators within several weeks of completing the academy. So let's see, moving on. So this slide I touched on briefly before, again, comparing us to our other jurisdictions. We're not doing so bad. 20% roughly of our community is African American, and almost 7% of our workforce is African American. So representing a 13.4% difference between the community and our department. And then you see how it breaks down through the other jurisdictions, our neighboring cities as well. So recruiting challenges. This has been a real challenge for us. When everybody in this room came on the department, we had thousands and thousands of applicants for just a handful of jobs. Now we're not seeing that, and there's a whole host of problems, both mostly external to the organization, that are challenges for us. So employee retention is a challenge. We have fewer applicants participating in the hiring process. Entry into the police academy doesn't always guarantee success. So just because they've made it, they have to meet the standards and demonstrate 100% understanding and proficiency with a certain skill or task. Diversity in recruiting also remains a challenge for us. And it's important to note that these are challenges that are experienced across the country in American law enforcement, and they are not unique to us. And then exacerbating all of this is COVID-19. We can't go out to the colleges and universities as much as we used to, and the typical venues that we would have set up booths, things like that, because COVID has certainly impacted that. So what are we doing about these challenges? Our recently formed recruiting consortium. This is a gathering of folks from the community, faith-based organizations, business community, academia, all coming together to put their heads together to find a best way to recruit folks and for us to be able to recruit a diverse workforce that represents the community that we serve. So it's important to note that we are trying to find quality recruits, not quantity. We want to make sure that we have the right folks doing this job. One of the really neat things that we're doing is a police cadet program. So you have to be 21 by the time you graduate the academy. And oftentimes from the time a kid gets out of high school, they go off and they may find a new job venture. For instance, they can join the military right out of high school, but they can't join the police department. This police cadet program is designed to help attract some of those kids who may be attracted to other lines of work. We can hopefully entice them into through this cadet program into a police academy once they meet the age requirement. And we are actively working our way through that program now. It seems to have good support from city leadership, and we're hopeful that we can continue to move forward with that. We actively engage with our historically black colleges and universities and ask for their support. We've participated in any social justice forums that they've had on campus to help break down those barriers to understanding. We partnered with our LGBTQ Life Center, and we certainly welcome any transgender applicants. And then we work with all of our local colleges and universities to transfer credits from what we provide in our academy into a degree at their university. For instance, Virginia Wesleyan University will give one of our officers up to 30 credit hours for completion of our police academy. And that's a pretty significant enticement for a young person working on their degree. So one of the common misconceptions with police work is folks think they're too old to join our ranks, and that's simply not the case. You can see the average age of most of our academies are around 28 years old. And let's see, we've had almost 4 people over the age of 40 in the last 8 academies. And you can see the breakdown here. 48 was the oldest, and the youngest being 21 by the time they graduated the academy. So here's another way to look at the age breakdown. Let's see, 53.7 years old back in 2016 was the oldest recruit that I see on the graph here. So as you can see, that's no spring chicken, to put it politely, but they can still come in and do the job. And here you'll see the breakdown between males and females and by demographic here. You'll see this is for our applicants. If you go over to the total screen and you look at the very bottom, you'll see we had 1,309 applicants in 2019. By comparison, when I applied, there were 3,500 applicants for one application process. And so that's the challenge that we face. And here's the folks who are applying. So, of the folks who applied, meaning they completed their waive application, remember it's a 2-part process. They complete the city's waive application and they complete the personal history questionnaire. Of those 1,309 applicants, only 290 submitted a personal history questionnaire, which is roughly 20% of the total applicants. So moving on to the 68th Academy, that began in January of this year. We had a wide range of folks from all walks of life. Recruiting members from Iraq, Vietnam, Philippines, Scotland, and Ukraine. So you can see we don't really have an issue with that. As long as you're an American citizen, you meet the requirements, you can make it through the selection process. We'll do everything we can to get you successfully through our program. And then here we are with our current academy. This academy is presently going on, and we started with 51, and we've lost a few. Some of the challenges we face are, for instance, folks will come in and that first week of academy, they decide that it's not for them, or they may end up getting another job offer that came in after they joined, and they just decided for whatever reason that law enforcement isn't for them. And so we started the class with 69, with 51, and we presently have 32 officers in seat or recruits in seat, and we have three of the 51 are certified officers who came to us from other jurisdictions and have already been out on the street working. So including those, we have 35 that remain from the 69th Academy. So here's some, this is a great graph to show on the misperceptions or misconceptions of the written exam. And you can see the pass and fail rate based on race and gender. And nothing real shocking there. Most everybody does pretty well. We have over a 90% pass rate in our written exam. So if you look at the African-American men, only one failed out of 16 with a success rate of 94.1%. If you compare that to the men, 1 of 8 women failed that exam with an 88.9% success rate. Overall, a 92.3% success rate. So we're pretty proud of that, and we're going to continue to do our best to help people be successful in that written exam. And again, we provide a study guide on our website to help folks through that. So what's it look for us? What does it look for like for us in the future? So, like I said, we had 51 recruits that started the academy back on July 14th, and we have 40 applicants going through our physical ability and written test this coming Saturday. And certainly you all are welcome to come out and observe that process if you'd like to do so. It's at our Law Enforcement Training Academy on Bird Neck Road. So we'll continue to accept certified Virginia police officers. We will put them through I don't want to say an abbreviated academy, but they don't have to go through all of a full academy that a non-certified recruit would have to go through. So you've heard me talk about our training. Our training is second to none, and that has a lot to do with our facilities. So we've adopted LEDA to meet our needs in that academic environment, but we have also taken the old Creeds Airfield and have made that into a very unique, one-of-a-kind training facility that offers us the ability to not only do our driver training, but also to do realistic simulated training. We have a mock SETI set up with old Connex boxes and formulated into what generally looks like a very small neighborhood, but it gives our officers the ability to do realistic scenario-based training and to address some of the areas that you see over on the right. Our high-speed precision driving, our crowd management training, our critical incident response, our first aid training, AED, Narcan, tourniquets, de-escalation, use of force, and all of this is accomplished through practical scenarios. It's really fantastic training. Folks from other jurisdictions who have come in to observe the training or to participate in it have really commented very highly about it. We also have our facility at Academy or Academy, however you'd like to say that. It's the very large firearms facility down in Moyock, North Carolina. That facility, although it's in another state and a half hour away, it offers some training that just can't be matched anywhere else. And our officers in our firearms training unit really takes full advantage of the abilities that that facility offers us. So here you'll see one of our recruiting advertisements, a pretty good representation of the many different things that we do to try and make it attractive to a person who's looking to become a police officer. We hope that we can entice them to join our ranks. And that completes the presentation.
So, Ms. Sylvia, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to share this. I'm happy to open up to the floor for questions and answers or inquiries to anything more specific.
Okay, yes, thank you very, very much. And thank you for your patience for waiting how many months that is. I can't count. Does anyone else have any questions for the captain?
Raise your virtual hand if you have any questions.
I see real hands going up.
Yeah, I see real hands too. Don't forget your virtual hand, which is down in the bottom right corner. I see one virtual hand up by Vice Chair Gencott. Vice Chair Gencott, your mic is open.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief and staff, for that great report. That was very eye-opening, and you have quite a challenge on your hands. I have just a couple questions. One was about the written exam, and then toward the end of the report, you seem to have such a high success rate. My question was going to be, is the written exam also available in other languages and in audio format? Because that may be an area where you might be able to reach some folks that have not been able to be reached before.
I don't know for sure. Shelley's going to check back, but that's a good takeaway, Ms. Ginger, and that's something we need to consider.
Okay.
I think Shelley's got the answer.
I'm working on the specifics with the language, but there is a practice exam that applicants can go onto the website and try out beforehand. So there is a way to be exposed to the question, some of the possible questions ahead of time. But I'm getting an answer for the language barrier.
Okay.
And with respect to if an applicant had a disability, we would accommodate that applicant under the Americans with Disabilities Act, and that could include various devices. They still have to do the core functions of the job, but if assistance is needed under ADA, we would attempt to accommodate them.
Thank you, Ren.
Okay, don't forget to lower your virtual hand if you have nothing more to say. Thank you.
We're actually accommodating an applicant this weekend for this upcoming testing based on the ADA requirements.
Okay, thank you. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is now open.
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to ask, first of all, I wanted to congratulate the police department for sharing such a comprehensive report. And as you know, there is a lot of discussion around the state regarding military equipment and so forth. Do you mind, my first question is, do you mind telling us whether we have such type of equipment within the police department? And also the percentage of officers that have body cameras as well. And then I like to also, the other point that I wanted to have us maybe talk a little bit more in depth is the scenario training. There's a lot of discussion in regards to training officers with interactions with members of the community, specifically with members of the minority communities. Because right now, for instance, you know, I've been participating in some discussions regarding law enforcement, and there has been some discussion within that group of bringing in maybe leaders on the diverse organizations so that they can have that type of interaction and how, say, young African American males feel when they are being approached by an officer and so forth. So if we can expand on that, I really appreciate it.
All right, so let me try to answer the questions as you asked them, Ms. Beatrice. I think the first one was asking if the Virginia Beach Police Department has any military type equipment. The police department does have various pieces of equipment. We comply with the federal and state guidelines and regulations. That program is actually coordinated through the Virginia State Police. There are certain criteria and qualifications that the city, the municipality has to meet to obtain those different items. So we have a couple of different items over the years. We've secured four-wheel vehicles like Suburban and Tahoes. We've secured four-wheel drive vehicles that we call high water vehicles. So they're elevated and raised. We have a MRAP vehicle, which is a armored vehicle that was used in the military. We've also acquired over time some infrared night vision goggles, some uniforms, some camouflage uniforms and things like that. But all the items that the police department has obtained through that program was worked through and approved through the state police, as well as the existing government regulations. Any of the vehicles that we attempted to acquire had to be reviewed and approved by our fleet management office. And we have to basically sign a contract, if you will, on those pieces of equipment. We just can't dispose of them. There's certain criteria and qualifications we have to abide by. So the current General Assembly has a bill pending that limits the use of military equipment. All the items that we currently acquired would not fall under those exceptions under the current state bill. But the short answer is yes. The second question I think you asked was about body-worn cameras. And I think I presented to the HRC previously on our body-worn camera program. And we talked about our research and our due diligence on the program. And the fact that the department did not jump into the body-worn camera technology once it came out. So we are now in phase 3 of 4 of our body-worn camera program. Phase 3 means we have over 300 officers assigned to a body-worn camera. Actually, our department has taken the posture that we're going to assign 2 body-worn cameras to each officer. That comes with an additional cost, but it's a benefit to the community in the regard that we feel that the officer will always have a body-worn camera available, even when the one is what's called docked or downloaded, when the camera is downloading its electronic data into the system. And that enables the officers to leave one at the precinct for the download, but they can take the other one home. So when they go to court or secondary employment, they have the body worn camera and they're wearing that. So right now we have over 300. We hope within the next couple of months, we'll be able to outfit the balance of the department for a total allocation of about 450 body worn cameras. That complement of body worn cameras pretty much gives every uniform officer, patrol officer, and some specialty officers wearing a body worn camera. The third question, I think, was about our training. We do a lot of training, both academic and situationally from a classroom or tabletop scenario exercise, but we do a lot of active participation with role players and scenarios. The scenarios are broad, they're vast, they're based on real life encounters. Some of those encounters are from situations we here in Virginia Beach have encountered. Some of them are lessons learned from across the nation where we adopt some of those scenarios into our practical-based trainings evolutions. The training scenarios deal with persons in crisis, persons that are in the middle of a domestic situation, persons that may be having a mental health situation, persons that are armed, whether it be with a firearm or a bladed knife. And we offer all different types of scenarios. I'm not sure the scenario that you're proposing, Ms. Amberman, but we'd be willing to talk through some of those different scenarios. Some of our scenarios, we actually ask for citizen role players, and that we bring in students from Tidewater Community College, sometimes persons that volunteer with the police department or with the city of Virginia Beach, so we can get the officers engaged in as real life as a scenario as possible. I hope I answered all three of your questions, but if I missed anything, please let me know.
Thank you, Chief. And basically, in regards to the citizen portion of that, we just heard from several young African-American males that actually related to us how fearful they are when they are approached by a police officer for any reason, any stop, and the officer then, puts his hand over his revolver. So that type of thing, and how some of them feel and reacted. So basically that was the type of situations that right now are being in discussion. Thank you so much for your answer.
So let me just add to that. We're sensitive to that. We train our officers in inclusion and diversity training. We train them in implicit bias. You've heard me talk about our active intervention strategy, where we mandate our officers intercede when there's a concern or a problem. We also have a prohibitive policy on chokeholds, but we also teach de-escalation and the proper use of force, and our training and our policy are dictated by what the case law has set forth, and that is using the minimum amount of force to effect a lawful arrest. So key terms in there, a minimum amount of force with a lawful arrest. So what you're talking about may be an evolution that I'd like to partner with the HRC and offer some maybe external training to the community. We put together pamphlets on how a citizen can react to an officer on a traffic stop. We've lifted different information on our webpage about mediation, our mediation program, but perhaps there's an opportunity where we can offer some small setting, communication with some of the people. We have, we've done our Hispanic Police Academy, and that was very successful. Almost, I want to say it was 68 graduates. We've done all sorts of police academies, senior and regular police academies, and a lot of the lesson plans are talked about to actually engage and educate the citizens on how to handle those encounters. So that may be something we can work together on in the future.
Hi, thank you, Chief. And thank you for answering those questions. They really weren't in with our recruitment questions. But before we get to Lewis and Francis, I just want to say thank you for answering those. And Beatrice sits on the governor's task force, correct? So she may want to get with you, and I'd like to get with you and talk about that, the pardoning with citizens. So Donna, who's next up?
Yeah, next, Commissioner Rivera, I know you had your real hand up, so your mic is now unmuted. Wait, let me unmute it. You're unmuted. Wait, let me unmute it. Okay. You should be unmuted now. Can you unmute yourself? Okay. All right. Did you want to maybe try calling in with your phone? So then you're on visual, but you're on your phone audio? That might help out.
Or try pressing the space bar and talk with the space bar pressed. See if that helps.
No luck? Okay, try calling in on your phone. So then we'll see you, but then we'll be able to hear you on your phone. Okay, Commissioner Rivera? Can you try that out? I think his picture froze now. Okay. Commissioner Thompson, I see your virtual hand up.
Well, good afternoon to everybody. I just would like to get to one of the recruitment questions or some of the data that you presented. And again, I do celebrate the whole police department on, your patience, all that you're trying to do for our city. And appreciate it. But I did notice that the PHQ, the questionnaire, seemed to be a barrier because I can't go back. I didn't write the data down, but there was a large number of applicants, and then like 20% of those actually went forward to complete the questionnaire. So has anyone sat down and actually gone through the questionnaire or had an external group of someone maybe look at the questionnaire to see if indeed there might be a barrier there that would keep people from completing it? That's just a question I'm just throwing out there.
So that's a good question, Francis, and we've actually looked at some of the process improvements with our communications division. So some of it is improving the server access and the ability to access that. Camp Spivey wants to weigh in, and I think Shelley wants to weigh in, but we work with our communications office on that. Part of the challenge is that personal history questionnaire is very comprehensive. So this, we can speculate that perhaps it's so cumbersome for some of those applicants that they prefer not to finish and complete it and submit it. So we're looking at that. Ken or Shelley, anything you want to add?
So real quick before I turn it over to Shelley, we've taken, Lieutenant Meister and myself recently came to professional development and training. And with that comes a benefit of a fresh set of eyes looking at something. And so we've identified some process improvement that we can make to help bridge that gap. But also we just totally restructured our police department website with respect to the application process and everything related to applying for the police department. And you cannot go from one page to the next without being reminded to complete that PHQ. Now, in complete candor about this, a certain degree of folks are applying just for the sake of applying because either mom and dad said, hey, you need to apply for a job or you're out of the house or something. So there's a whole host of reasons why people might not might not want to follow through with completing the PHQ, but certainly we've done what we can with our website to make it as easy as we can on the website to emphasize to folks that this is a two-part process, not only completing the city's waive application, but also completing this PHQ. And so as Chief Sakara said, it is a lengthy, involved document that they have to create. It gets into every aspect of one's personal life. It is the beginning of a background investigation. So it's very thorough, very comprehensive, and in-depth. So that in and of itself might be a challenge for some folks who they didn't think it would be that involved. So again, there's also, we would like to work with city HR to maybe merge the two. So when they apply to the police department, not only do they complete the waive application, but in the same process, they can complete the PHQ to simplify that process. So we're exploring that as well. And we're working in that area. Shelley, do you have more to add?
Hi, Commissioner Thompson, to you.
Just really quickly, I just wanted to confirm, is it only available online? Can a person come in and sit down and complete it? Or is it only available on?
We can certainly facilitate that, but it's very rare that we have that. For instance, we had a gentleman show up today. He was exiting the Navy. He stopped by our training facility and we walked him through the application process right there in the building. So we can certainly facilitate that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I know that we do live in an age of technology and all of that, but you do have a contingent of people who are very apprehensive about putting personal information, online and putting their lives out there online. I guess they, have some apprehension about that. But I would like for you to just really, look back through that questionnaire. If there are questions in there that could be covered by a background check, there's no need to duplicate that. I mean, I just feel like we need to do whatever we can to break down that barrier. It seems to be, a barrier when you have that, when you have that data that I was looking at.
Yeah.
It really should be looked at very closely. But thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Thompson. Don't forget to lower your virtual hand when you're done. Thank you. Okay, I believe Luis has come back with us. Let me just check and see if this is him, because I have some new callers on the line. Commissioner Rivera, is this you?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, your mic is open.
Great. First of all, that was an outstanding report. Thank you so much for that information. In fact, it makes me even prouder of my son that he was able to get through such a rigorous program to become a police officer. But the question I have is, can you provide us with any kinds of percentages or numbers of the minorities, women, et cetera, in the ranks of your leadership in the academy and in the police department in general?
So
that's not a training program. This is a recruitment report. It may be more appropriate for another time to ask that question or to ask offline.
Yeah, I have that information. I actually have it in a folder, but I didn't bring that folder with me. So I'm happy to share that information with you guys.
Sure, thank you.
No problem. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivera. Did you have any more to ask or say?
There was just one other, but I'm not sure if that's linked with the academy. But say, for example, you see someone that has tremendous potential in the academy. Is there a program for fast tracking a person like that to be able to take on greater responsibilities within the police department, et cetera, in your leadership?
So we just recently adopted a professional development program. That program really speaks to workforce development and attempts to foster professionalism in our ranks and our rank and file. It's also, we're going to use that as a recruiting tool. We have embedded in that program is a coaching and mentoring program. And, we have solicited coaches and mentors throughout the department, and we're building that listing. We use a mentoring program with the recruits as they come on board, and we have incumbents to help guide them through the academy process. We don't necessarily have a fast track per se where we identify a rising star and then we work them through the system and they're able to circle the appropriate workplaces for accelerating in rank. But our professional development program is based on that type of model to coach, mentor, guide, and enhance the professional development of our members.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivera. One of our other commissioners, looks like they rejoined us. I'm going to check in and see. Commissioner Hasseltine, is this you? Commissioner Hasseltine, are you on the call? Okay, I'm not sure who that caller is. Hello, caller. Can you identify yourself? Okay. I'm just going to go on and check with our other callers to see if they have any questions or comments for Chief Carl. Commissioner Anderson? Commissioner Anderson?
No, thank you. Thank you for the report.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, and I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, your mic is now open.
Yes, I want to thank the police department for a great presentation and was asking when and appreciate the movement toward the paid cadet program because of, as you said, that 3-year barrier for people that have to be looking at making a living. Is that program up and online yet? And if not, when will it begin? And how many can it accommodate?
The program is not up and online. We've done our staff work and completed staff work is now sitting with the Department of Human Resources. The leadership at this table met with Human Resources about a week or two ago. We're working through some of the final proposal pieces of it. So we think we're in the 23rd hour of that discussion. Once we get through the human resources piece, then it goes to the city manager for approval. Part of the challenge is not only identifying meaningful work and the job tasking and the parameters, it's also working through the funding piece. So part of the research that we did, and as you know, Ms. Teresa, this has been a long conversation with a lot of staff work. I tasked the team to not only put a proposal together, but I also asked them to do their research on existing programs. And from that, we studied no less than 9 programs throughout the nation. And what we learned from that research, we learned that there's several different evolutions of a cadet program. They range from full-time, they range in pay and salary. More of them are actually part-time. So we have to look at the budget implication. We also have to speak to the budget implication as far as not only the money, but the people. So depending on how many recruits or cadets rather that we can budget for, that also has an implication on the leadership requirements to manage the program. So we're working through a couple of different models, whether it's a decentralized model of supervision or oversight or a decentralized model. And really, I envision a hybrid model where the police cadets report to my team at PD&T, but they're assigned for meaningful work in each of the operational commands. Some of the meaningful work or positions I've shared with you before, gave you a list of some of those positions. Well, we're going to incorporate the cadets into those positions. What we're also want to do, since I want to have a centralized focus, is when able, like right now, we have a police academy going through. So we've identified certain core training evolutions in the police academy that we think that would benefit the police cadet to sit through, whether that's constitutional law, whether that's inclusion or diversity, implicit bias, some of those training evolutions. We would not be putting the police cadets through firearms training, some of the high stress tactical training, or even the driver's training, but we feel we can use this as an opportunity to better prepare those young people for when they have to go through the police recruit application process. We've learned in this journey, in our research, that human resources wants to have a separate and distinct qualifying process for the police cadet versus the police recruit. So we're having to be nimble on that, but we're working through it. I think the good news is, I think everybody that's seen and put their fingerprints on the proposal is favorable. Many are advocating for it. And what I plan on doing, unless I can find an alternate revenue stream, is I'm going to use the vacant revenue from the vacancy positions of our sworn officers to help fund those police cadets. That now becomes challenging because in the last several budget processes, the police department lost about 26 budgeted positions. So that's 26 budgeted salaries that I can't draw from, but we still have some vacancies, so there is still some room to draw. So the program, once it gets approved, then we're going to look at the volume and then the funding revenue. So the volume is going to be dictated on partly on the funding, partly on our ability to do a supervision oversight.
I just want to commend you on that proactivity. Chief Caro, I think that's excellent, especially in the realm of trying to make opportunities and overcome barriers for minority recruitment. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Teresa. And as you know, this is we've been discussing it and reviewing it and studying it for quite a time. But you know, I have to compliment my staff, Captain Squires, who's recently retired, and Lieutenant Burnett and the staff at PD&T did a lot of that work. And when you reach out to no less than a dozen police departments and probe other police departments to learn about a program, a policy, the funding, and all the implications that our friends in HR work through, it's quite the large task.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Since we're running so far behind, can we go over your internal program next time, or what do you think, Chief Sparrow?
I mean, I could touch on it real quickly if you like, Ms. Sylvia.
Before you do that, I had one quick question. The PHQ, is it the same as the fire departments, and is it a national standard?
No, it is not the same as the fire department, and police departments do not have a national standard like the fire department. They have different standard. But to speak to your question, what we've undertaken to complement our citizen task force, the consortium that Captain Spivey talked about with our friends in the external sector, we've undertaken some internal conversations, and I've sent a personal message to every minority member in the department. That includes the African Americans, the Hispanics, the Asians, anybody that's other than a white male or a white female, to join the conversation. And the conversation is candid, it's frank, it's probative. It's open, it's honest, and it's thought-provoking, and I'm asking the minority members, what's the challenge on the department? What recruiting challenges are we facing? Whether that's an internal challenge, whether it's an external challenge. and there's many challenges. And then I've asked these groups to identify action items that we can identify action and then put teams together to work with our recruiting team. I brought in a external facilitator from our STAR office, and we've had several internal conversations. I think they've been productive. I think they've been eye-opening. I think I really appreciate the candor of the members that have come to the table and engaged. And my role, as well as the leadership from PD&T, our role was basically to sit back and start the questioning, the conversation with two questions. One is, what's the challenge? Two is, what's the action? And then let the group formulate those responses. And I've been very pleased with the results. So we're in the early stages of that. As we get the information and feedback from our facilitators, we'll be able to regroup, bring the group in and facilitate. I've also identified some informal leaders in those groups, a half a dozen officers that range from an officer, a master police officer, sergeant, and a lieutenant. And they're actively engaged in this, and again, they're persons of color.
I commend you for doing that. That's very proactive, and it sounds like it's going to be effective. Thank you for explaining that to us.
I'll take.
Can I just add one more thing?
Yes, sir.
In fact, I'll ask Shelley to, as part of this conversation, one of the recruiters brought up a suggestion. I'd like Shelley to talk about that.
So one of the things we wanted to do is really reach out to the entire department, not just the people that Chief Secura just talked about, the people that we were targeting, but the entire department, to get them involved in the recruiting effort to kind of revitalize our recruiting program. And we asked, we had a survey sent out and asked some pretty candid questions about would they be interested in recruiting in one of these communities, reaching out into the community that they're either involved with or a community that they would like to get involved with. So I think it has it has a twofold message. One, we want to start that recruiting effort again, reaching out to our diverse communities, and it's got that community engagement piece. And we're getting our officers involved in that community-oriented policing mindset yet again on that inclusion and diversity level. So we sent that out to the department today, and hopefully that'll generate some more interest with recruiting and engaging in our minority communities.
Thank you, Shelley.
Okay. Yes. All right. Thank you. I just want to check and make sure that. First of all, Commissioner Stanley, did you have more to say? Okay. Thank you. I want to check and make sure our callers don't have any questions. Commissioner Zoberman, your mic is open.
No, thanks. No,
okay.
But thanks.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Zoberman. I want to check and see if this is Commissioner Hasseltine. Have you jumped back on the call? Is this Commissioner Hasseltine or is this Commissioner Cadet?
I'm not sure what line you're on, but I have no questions.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Commissioner Cadet. Okay, and I don't see any other. Well, Chair Neri Strickland, did you have more to say? I see you're the first
no.
hand is up.
Thank you. Is it still up? Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, I don't see any other virtual hands up. So I'll send it over to you, Chair Neri Strickland.
Okay, thank you. I just saw Jamal had to jump off, so
okay.
we're losing him.
Okay.
Thank you again, BBPD. We're very proud of you, and we always enjoy working with you, and we learn a lot. Thank you for that great presentation, all the good work that you're doing. Moving on, the chairman's report. Dominique has sent out the work plan and our onboarding package for review. These are both drafts, so if everybody can review them and get them back to us as soon as you can. Well, since we have a new person, we can maybe give her the draft onboarding. We'll see. And committee reports.
Just one moment, just want to take a moment to recognize that Commissioner Taylor has joined the meeting. Commissioner Taylor?
How you doing? Good afternoon. Sorry for being late, but believe me, oh my God, it's been a rough day for me today.
Oh, we're sorry.
After last night.
Is the meeting over yet? we watched it.
It's over with now. Oh boy.
Well, welcome, Commissioner Taylor.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Thompson, your mic is now open.
Yes, Sylvia, I'm thinking that we need to vote on that policy, the onboarding package. Can we vote on that tonight if everybody's already seen it, so we can go ahead and give it to our new commissioner here? I wouldn't feel comfortable giving just a draft out.
No, we won't.
Approving it, you know. I mean, we do welcome her and we want her on, but
right.
Like I would feel more comfortable if we have adopted it.
Yeah, because it's a draft, I haven't sent it to Commissioner Anderson yet. I know, and that's why I haven't sent it to her yet. So I don't know if you still want to go ahead and vote for it, or if people want to look at it. I was going to bring one addition I think should be made to the packet. I'm hoping everyone saw the email that I sent out a couple hours ago about the COVID training, the mandatory COVID training for all volunteers. So I think that's an element that needs to be added to the onboarding packet for either that training or any trainings that come up in the future.
Right. And we'll get that. Everybody make sure that we get that done. And no, I think we have changes to be made yet. We can't vote on it tonight, if that's all right.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't want to distribute it to.
Okay.
And it's because it's still a working draft. I haven't distributed yet. So.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Committee reports. Awards committee. David, are you still there?
Let me Commissioner Cadet, your mic is now open.
Yes, I'm here. We're going to talk about the video project.
Yes.
I was going to pass it over to Dominique because this is kind of her pet project here, and I feel like you know a little bit more about it than I do. If you want to maybe fill everyone in.
Okay, I can do that. Well, when I sent the committee reports, one of them was for the awards committee. I hope everyone had a chance to look at it. If not, I can give a brief little recap on it. The awards committee met on, oh gosh, I think it was the 19th. I can't remember exactly, but the awards committee met, and it was determined that the original plan to do the recognition virtual video with pictures coming from the public would be a little time, there would be time constraints with getting that produced by our production date, which we wanted to be December 10th. And plus we thought that there would be maybe a low turnover from the public sending in those pictures of different recognition groups. So the new concept was developed of doing a more of a Human Rights Day celebration video where each commissioner would take about 15 seconds to say what human rights means to them. And we already put together an introduction, which would be done by our chair, Sylvia, and then the closing would be done by the vice chair, Ginger. And with that, with the intro, closing, and then the 15 seconds for each commissioner, we're looking about a 4 to 5 minute long video. And the video would be broadcast on December 10th, which is International Human Rights Day. It would be broadcast on VBTV. We can post it on the city's YouTube channel, post it on the HRC website, so then it can be shared and maybe even go viral, which would be awesome. And like I said, not only does it celebrate Human Rights Day, but it also introduces Virginia Beach to the Human Rights Commission. There is an example video that I can send to everyone. Prince William County did something like that for Unity. Like I said, I can go ahead and send that so you guys can have a look and see what we're aiming for. I have already sent in a creative brief to Valerie with the communications office, and it looks like it's something that is doable. Right now, we're looking at if everyone can get the video done by September 30th, we would be able to have it finished and complete by their department by October 10th. So way in advance for our actual broadcast day. I know September 30th is coming up, so we may have to push that back a little bit, but still, I think we'll have plenty of time to get that done by December 10th. Each commissioner would use their own mobile device to video themselves. And the city did something similar with city council before. And they had a do's and don'ts video that went out to everyone. Valerie supplied that with me, and I can definitely share that with everyone if it's decided to go ahead with this new concept. I also asked, because I know sometimes technical issues and things like that. I asked Valerie if the communications office would be willing to set up appointments for those who don't feel comfortable recording themselves. Maybe they can go into their office or maybe even come here somewhere where social distancing can be done and they can tape, you can tape your message. Valerie also suggested doing maybe 2 or 3 of what human rights means to you, so we don't have any overlap. They can pick and choose and make sure the flow of the video is perfect. And let's see, what else did we talk about? Anything else?
Dominique, you did share those videos with us and the time,
Okay.
and everything from the suggestions from Valerie. So everyone should have already looked over those parts.
Okay. All right. So at this point, it's just up to whether or not the commission as a whole wants to go into this new direction.
Right. I said vote on the agenda, but if it's a consensus that that's better, easier, it sounds like it's really good, and the videos that I've seen are great. If I hear no objections, we'll just call it a consensus.
That's fine.
Okay. So anyone, put up your virtual hand if you have any questions, concerns, anything of that nature. Okay. I don't see any virtual hands, so I'm going to try and make sure all our callers are with the new concept. So I'm going to start with Commissioner Anderson. Your mic is now open. How's this sound to you? I know you're new and everything, but.
No, I did read over the submission. I think that's a great idea. I love the videos, and I would love for us to go viral.
Yes, exactly. That would be, I think that would be great if that was the end result of this. So thank you, Commissioner Anderson. And then Commissioner Zoberman, how do you feel about this new concept?
Yeah, love it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioner Rivera, how do you feel about this new celebration for Human Rights Day? Commissioner Rivera, are you still with us on the phone? Commissioner Rivera?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, no problem, as long as we can have that video to take a look and see some examples.
Yeah, okay.
Of what we have
I'll resend it. I'll resend it because I know I sent you guys a bunch of emails, so it might have got lost in the mix. All right, thank you, Commissioner Rivera. And I have a new caller here. I think this might be Commissioner Heseltine. Commissioner Heseltine, is this you?
Yes, it is. I'm
Okay.
again.
Yeah. Okay. Did you hear all that about the new concept for our video?
Yes. I mean, I didn't hear it, but I'm aware of it, and it's a great idea.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. Thank you, Commissioner. All right. So it looks like everyone is on board for this new concept.
Thank you, everybody.
A minor little suggestion. I looked at the script, which I thought looks great. The first sentence in the script is "Good evening," and I understand why we did that, because we're going to show it live on BBTV. But if we're hoping this is going to go viral, people are going to be watching it in the daytime too. So maybe skip the "good evening" part and just get right into it.
Right. That was just a sample introduction. We'll probably change that up, maybe add something else or keep it as is, or just make that one little tweak. So, okay, great. All right. Anyone else?
That's great. Thank you very much. And moving on, we continue to have the joint HRC RAC front meeting. I don't think we have minutes from the last one yet, do we?
Not yet. Tomorrow.
tomorrow, no biggie, but we're moving forward. Anybody that ever wants to join, just please join in. We are making progress. And it's important dialogue. I guess the onboarding package has been sent out in a draft. We don't really need an update. Do you have anything, Ginger? Do you want to say anything more? Okay. Francis, I have your name by the Racial Tension Task Force, and I think it's because we asked you to do the research on your courageous conversations. Do you have anything you'd like to say, or she's just laughing, folks. No, I think she's tired. It continues, and we'll just keep on going through it. The COVID-19 task force, which is basically all of us, and anybody that has things they've been sending it to me, and if it's of interest, I think thank you, Tommy, for sending some of the mental health issues around COVID, and we've been trying to post those to the Facebook page so we can share them. And Ginger's been doing her stats every Friday, and now we're putting them on Facebook so those can be shared. And I did get a question about, I actually got a question about them, so I thought that was interesting. I think it was where we got them. It was something like that. So I can't believe, are we going to finish early today? Does anybody, I see a hand going up.
Okay, Commissioner Stanley, I see your real hand up.
I just didn't know, Sylvia, whether you wanted to include it in the committee reports or just partnership work, but the legislative collaborative table issues. I know Dominique put Human Rights Commission across the top of them, but really it's just work. And these are the other issues by which that in the lane of human rights, many of us are a part of this, 27 groups that are nonpartisan, working on social justice issues. They've always been our partners. So that was included in Dominique's send out. And I will follow up with the event flyer, which is going to have to take place on Zoom because of social distancing, but it's September 27th for folks that want to be a part. And you can see what those issues are, mostly along the lines of equity and justice. And all, like I said, nonpartisan work. Much of it, I know that our two main things are district judges, which we already approved, and the Virginia STEP funding. The STEP funding is one of the top 6 issues here. So I just wanted to make sure everybody had that, and then when Dominic sends the invitation out, you'll know that you can be a part, and then we'll do Hampton Roads visits with about 30 delegates and senators in our region.
Right, and thank you for doing that, Teresa, and especially the different colors. It's how mine was, so it's easy to read.
Well, and I do want to say, Sylvia, that the special session has made it difficult to hone this in because much of it is still up in the air, which there's been a lot of activity. But and I also want to give kudos to Joe for finding a way to integrate this partnership work. I thought that the draft was really good. So this way, it isn't a committee per se because it's not ours, but it's our partner and many of us.
Exactly.
Tommy will be one of the main speakers on the mental health issue.
Oh, great. Very good.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Stanley. I see a virtual hand up by Vice Chair Jenka.
Yes, I just really wanted to go on record to thank all of you commissioners who've responded so quickly to the request that Sylvia and I have put out to you. It's been some fast turnaround time. And in particular, we had a great, I'm going to say a victory last night with commending Dr. Parrott for the educational equity policy was passed by the school board. And now they have the template to move forward to create the appropriate things that are needed for our school system. Dr. Parrott, would you like to say anything?
Dr. Parrott, your mic is now open.
I would like to thank the Human Rights Commission for the support for myself as an individual, but also like to thank you for your support in sending letters of support and words of encouragement to our school board. And many of you are not new to Virginia Beach like myself, and this has definitely been a leadership lesson for me working with equity policy. You know, it's everywhere on our website and on documents in our strategic framework, but putting it in policy really became an emotional and very forceful situation. And so I know I'm headed in the right direction. And so I'm going to continue to move forward. And I want you to continue to push me forward and push us forward to continue to do what's right for students and families in Virginia Beach. And so thank you all for the letters. Thank you, Ms. Thompson, for being there in person. And I think that historical perspective, not historical is the wrong word, Ms. Thompson, but you know what I mean. So I know, Ms. Thompson, but you know, being there in person, I know everyone couldn't be there in person, but representation matters and numbers matter. And I felt good. I'm tired right now, but it was worth the time and worth the effort. And I'll stay energized for what's right. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Parrott.
Bravo. Ginger stole my line to do that, but yes, we were tired just watching you guys. So Francis and Dr. Parrott, thank you so much.
I want to check with our callers just to make sure that they don't have anything closing to say. Commissioner Cadet, your mic is open. Did you have anything to add to the discussion?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Heseltine, did you have anything to add to the discussion?
No.
Okay, thank you. I see a new caller here. Can you identify yourself, please?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm not new. I just had to get offline for a second.
Okay, Commissioner
But I'm
Gunn.
only on audio.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Did you have anything to add to the discussion?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Gunn. Commissioner Anderson, did you have anything to add to the discussion?
No, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. And again, welcome.
Thank you for coming on such short notice.
Okay. And Commissioner Zoberman?
No, but thank you, Dominic, for the way you handle everyone with such care and love and professionalism.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner Zoberman. Thank you. Okay. And Commissioner Rivera, your mic is now open. Oh, Commissioner Rivera.
Question of the rabbi. Hello?
Yep, Commissioner
Hello?
Rivera, is this you? We hear
Yes.
you. Yep, we hear you.
Oh, okay. I second the motion of Rabbi.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivera. All right, I think that is everything. I just want to make one last reminder for the COVID training. Make sure you get that done by next Friday, the 18th.
Okay, does Ginger, you have your hand up, or is that?
Did you have more to say, Ginger? Okay. Commissioner Stanley, I see your hand is up.
Just a final reminder, Dominique, that the Pastor Leader Community Police Relations Table.
That's right. It's tonight. Yes. Yep. And I think I sent everyone the Zoom link for that. So
Partnership work. Thank you.
yeah.
Tommy.
Oh, hold on. Commissioner Cubine, your mic is now open.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure that we had the Zoom link for that, and I was going to ask, but you said we have it, so I'm sure I have it.
Yeah, I can resend it to you after the meeting.
I'm sure I have it.
Okay.
Yeah, Teresa said it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. I was going to remind everybody. But, okay, it is 5:49. If I hear no new business, any new business, old business, citizens' remarks.
We have no citizens on the meeting today.
No citizens' remarks. I call the meeting adjourned then. Happy weekend, everybody. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, Miss Aberman.
Oh, happy birthday.
I'll sing to you if you call me.
We meet in real voice.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
Good seeing everybody.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I want to leave.